Good day, Africa, and welcome to a special edition of AU Talks. And AU Talks is brought to you by the Association of African Universities. And we are so much proud to bring to you a special edition because this week we have been celebrating the African Universities Week, which started from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and today we are bringing you the virtual studio sessions of African Universities Week. And we will be hosting a delegate from Sudan. We had vice chancellors from universities of Sudan, and they are here with us, and today we'll be discussing the higher education space in Sudan. Don't forget that you can join the conversation via our social media platforms, Association of African Universities on Facebook and AAU_67 on Twitter. If you want to ask a question, you can also use the hashtag for the African Universities Week, that is hashtag African Universities Week. I will go for a short break, and when I return, I will let you know my guest and then the other vice chancellors in the studio. Stay tuned. This is African Universities Week.
ونقدر نستفيد من التجارب بتاعت الناس الثانيين في انه نشوف انه كيف دايرين نعلم الناس الاركتكتشر، يعني to keep looking around لاي حاجه ممكن تكون فيها ideas، يعني نقدر انه نكون creative و think out of the box من الافكار already موجوده عندنا. ده ما من ناحيه بس artistic ولا من ناحيه شكليه، لكن من ناحيه بتاعت السبستانس بتاعت الاركتكتشر نفسها، وانه كيف احنا ممكن contribute للاركتكتشر at large، يعني اذا كان building design or otherwise.
بالنسبه لدور المعماري في الحياه من غير معماري، انا ما بعتقد انه كان في حتكون حياه، ما كان حتكون في ايكونز جميله في كل البلدان، سواء كانت دبي سواء كانت نيويورك الى غير ذلك من البلدان اللي فيها ايكونز معماريه كبيره.
كنا مصبحين في تسليم، كان الموضوع صعب شديد ومرهق، يعني تصبيح في تصبيح في تصبيح، في النهاية بيكون في نتيجة مثمرة، يعني تصبيح لكن هي بتجيب نتائج حلوة. تنبسط أهم شيء استمتاع أي في أغلب الأوقات، في أغلب الأوقات يوم تكمل المشكلة، يعني هي حاجة مهما اشتغلت فيها ما خلصت بعدها، يعني ممكن تقول إنه خلاص أشتغل وأخلص وخلاص، يعني أخلصها وأخذتها وأعمل بعد ذاك حاجاتي، تيجي إنه هي ما حتخلص.
معمار لما انت سألني معمار بالنسبة لي شنو؟ زي ما قلت قبل كده انه دي اكبر حاجة حتعمل حياتي الكبيرة والمهمة حتعطيها في حياتي، لانه في معمار لقيت طريقة انه انا اعبر عن الرواية، لقيت طريقة انه انا اوصل مفاهيمي والحياة اللي ترسخت جواي بمجهود، سواء كان بتاع الشغل سواء كان بتاع موديل ميكينج سواء كان بأي طريقة، انه انا اقدر اظهر الحاجة دي. انه بالنسبة لي انا بعتقد انه المعمار اسلوب حياة.
Welcome back, and this is the special edition of AU Week, AU Talk, and I told you that we have been celebrating African Universities Week, and today is day 4, and we are privileged to have our vice chancellors from Sudanese universities, and we will be looking at the higher education space in Sudan. And so I would want to go straight ahead and introduce my guest to you. We are privileged to have Professor Ibrahim Abdul Salam Yusuf Mohamed, and he is the vice chancellor, Gadarif University. Prof,
thank you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
I hope I said it right.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to Ghana.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
The second guest to be introduced He also goes by the name Professor Omar Mohamed Eltom Elshami, and he is the president of the Professional Association of Sudanese Universities. Prof, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Great. The third guest to be introduced, he also goes by the name Professor Elamin Osman Said Ahmed Mohamed, and he is the vice president, the National University, Sudan. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Great. So you are welcome to the studios, and you've been with us for from Monday, and then today is the 4th day, and we are looking at the higher education space in Sudan. But viewers, I'm not here alone with my guest. I have other colleagues who also joined us from Sudan, and I would want to introduce them as well so that you know who is in our studio today. We have Professor Anwar Ahmed Aisha Rashid, and he is the Vice Chancellor, University of Albutana. Prof? Yeah. I hope, Prof, I'm not giving you a new name today. Great. You are welcome. We also have Professor Noreldayem Osman Mohamed Hamdan, and he is the Vice Chancellor, University of Alemam.
Yeah.
Prof, you are welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
Great. We have Professor Isam Eldein Elmahi, and he is the representative of the Vice Chancellor, University of Mashreq. You are welcome, Prof. We also have Professor Ali Hussein Bahar Mohamed, Vice Chancellor, University of Zalingei.
Yeah.
Great. Prof, you are welcome. We have Dr. Fatima Abbas Khalid, and she is the representative of the Vice Chancellor, University of Kassala. All right. Thank you so much, Prof. We have Professor Ala Eldein Elamin Al-Zaki Mustafa. Yes, and he is the Dean of Nobles College. You are welcome, Prof. We also have Professor Hatim Osman Mohamed Kai Hamid, Vice Chancellor, African International University.
Welcome.
Prof, you are welcome. Great. We have Dr. Ibrahim Mohamed Adam Hamid, and he is the Dean of Faculty, Dar El-Ulum College of Science and Technology.
Thank you for having us here.
Thank you so much, Prof. You're welcome. We have Professor Abdul Fattah Bilal Abdul Salam El-Abbas, and he is the Dean, Faculty of Engineering, African International University. Prof, you are welcome as well. Thank you so much. We have a delegate also from the Imo State University, Nigeria, in the person of Professor Kelechi Nnamdi, and he is with the postgraduate school. Prof, you are welcome as well.
Yeah.
Great. Then we have Dr. Nnamdi Nwadu, and he's a representative of the Vice Chancellor, Ibenedon University, Okada, Nigeria. Prof, did I get the name right? I'm right. Great. Thank you so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is day 4 of the African Universities Week, and just as we started from Monday, we've been looking at a series of issues. We've been looking at diversification of higher education. We've been looking at the major theme for 2018 African Universities Week. That is the role of young people in achieving the Africa we want. Today, day 4, it's a special session for our delegate from Sudan. We want to understand higher education in Sudan. And so, Prof, let me come straight to you. Before we even start to understand the higher education space in Sudan, would we even want you to tell us or share with us some key things that everybody must know about Sudan, what we've not heard before and what we've not seen on the screens before.
First of all, let me congratulate and thank the AAU for celebrating this African University Week. So it's a very unique occasion. We are very delighted to be here with you and to participate in this very important event with you. So thank you, AAU, for availing us this very unique and very good opportunity to communicate with the Ghanaian and African universities in Accra. First of all, if I would like to tell you about Sudan, it will take a lot of time. But let me give you just a brief introduction to Sudan. So Sudan is known as the country that located in the heart of Africa, in the heart of Africa. So it makes a bridge between the Middle East and the Africa. So, and even the whole world comes to Africa, to Africa through Sudan. So this is a very unique characteristic that to be known for the Sudan.
Okay.
Sudan area has been estimated as 700,000 square miles, almost. So this is a huge area.
It's one of the biggest land mass.
Yeah, it is the third country. It is the third
biggest
country, area-wise, in Africa now.
Yes.
That's the second point. Also, Sudan is known for his wide ethnic diversities and the population that is estimated of 45 million population.
That's great.
Yeah, that's great.
All right.
Also, I want to tell you about Sudan from the natural resources view. Sudan is one of the richest country in this respect. For example, let me tell you that we have more than 103,000 million heads of livestock.
Okay.
Cattle, camels, sheep, and goats, and even wildlife.
Okay.
So that's marvelous. It's great.
That's
We have vast agricultural lands, which you can say virgin agricultural lands. Maybe somebody can
add up.
Add about exactly the estimated agricultural area.
Okay.
We have a lot of mines and a lot of forests. We have one of the most longest river in the world. So that's the River Nile.
River Nile, yes.
Yeah, that runs through all the Sudan, from the East Africa and from Ethiopia, and they merge the two branches merge in Khartoum to make the River Nile, which goes to the Mediterranean Sea.
That's beautiful.
We have a long coast with the Red Sea, and I think Professor Ahmed is going to talk a little bit about the heritage of the corals and the marines there.
Okay. All right.
So this is in brief the Sudan.
All right. That's beautiful. But I believe Prof has something little to add up.
Thank you very much for this opportunity, and I congratulate you also for this nice celebration for the African Universities Week. And as my colleague said about Sudan, Sudan is a very rich country, as he said about the agricultural land, which are most both irrigated and the rain-fed also. The rainy season is a very good rainy season, and most of the crops are grown there, from the cotton to the oil seeds, and we have special thing about the gum arabic. Now we are the first country in all the world which produce gum arabic. And we have other lots of crops, even wheat and sorghum and other crops. Also, Sudan, with its special area in Africa, it produce also, as he said, this livestock, and also it is a well-rich country in minerals and other metals.
Okay.
Also, oil is produced in Sudan, and now we are increasing our products or production of oil in this country. And as from it starts higher education from early in 1902, we have a good human resources now in all sides of the sciences. And we start with only one university, and now we reach about 136 universities, about 38 private universities, and the rest is 38 governmental universities, and the rest is private universities. And now our graduates exceeding 160,000 per year, and our enrollment in this year is exceeding 360,000 students, and even still we have some vacancies for more students. Yeah, and we have lots of foreign students coming from outside the Sudan.
Okay.
Almost about 85 from 85 other foreign countries who study in Sudan now.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof. I believe that a lot has been said.
I think
Sudan.
a lot have been said.
Exactly. So we would want to go into the details of understanding the higher education space in Sudan. And before we even ask the number of students, just as Prof has already indicated, can you give us or share with us a brief of how higher education started in Sudan?
Yeah, this actually is not my field, but
okay.
I'm going to talk about where he stopped about human resources in Sudan because of the early initiation of higher education in Sudan. In most of these rich Arab countries, the initiation of most of their education and their civil structures have been established by Sudanese elites coming from Sudan. And standing on this, we know the importance of human resource and high education. So the number of students who sit for the Sudan certificate is about 500,000 each year.
Okay.
The government universities and institutes can register about 200,000 out of this 500. So the government of Sudan encouraged the private sector to contribute in this field because of that we know the importance of human resource. This contribution is meant that we qualify our young people so that they can participate in development. This participation, I think, should be qualitative rather than quantitative. In the way that we should think of graduating young people who are very competent, should address all the competencies and the skills so that our graduates should not be waiting for employment. Okay. Be competent in a way that they can establish their own business, they can employ themselves, they can participate in development and improving the economy of the country. Because of all of this, or most of these resources have been mentioned, are not well explored and not well developed. We need human resource to improve this. We need high education.
Okay. So, Prof. Mohamed, let me come to you a bit about the history.
Yeah.
The first university or the first higher education institution in Sudan and how it started.
Yeah, as far as the historical background about the higher education in Sudan, that back dated to maybe the early as 18th century, where the Gordon Memorial College was established at that time. Then later on, in the early 19th century, it became the foundation for the University of Khartoum. So by that time, University of Khartoum was established with 3 schools: the agriculture, the health, and the arts, I think. Yeah. These are the 3. And then after that, it expanded to become the University of Khartoum, as is. Through this period of time, several other universities had been established until the end of the 1980s. We had like 6 or 7 public universities and just few private schools or universities. But we consider that from the 1989, the revolution, what we call it, the higher education revolution in Sudan, has taken place from that time until now, where a public university has been established in each state. Okay. That was that's to come out with more than 26 extra universities in different states. So as Professor Omer said, now we have more than 36 public universities, and we have almost 100 private and special universities. And one of the unique university is the Ahfad University for women. This is one of the unique university, even in Africa. It's solely for women. Educating women. Okay. So that's why in Sudan, women are very well educated, and they have a very good historical background from that early 19th century. Okay. Yeah.
Let me come to Prof. Omer. Prof. Omer, you gave us the total student population in the Sudanese universities. You mentioned about 360,000?
Yeah. This is the graduated
okay.
on 1 year.
Okay, annually. Okay, yeah. So we want to understand the gender distribution. We know that Sudan, a lot of our females are educated more than the men, which is totally different from the other regions of Africa or the other countries. Why is it so?
You know, we have for the general education now, it's all over the country, and now the students, female students, are exceeding the male students, and now in the universities, about 60% of the students are female and 40%
60%,
are male students now, and even in the staff, academic staff of the universities now, a good number of female staff, academic staff are females, and also for the first time now, as you have seen, we have Professor Siham, who was the first Vice Chancellor, female Vice Chancellor in the governmental university, Zaim al-Azhar University, which is governmental university, was Vice Chancellor by a female. And now in all the Sudan, even in the parliament, we have a good number of the females there, and we have some ministers from females now. So we have no gender problem actually in Sudan now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So Prof, what really accounted for this drive? Is it for a fact that we have a lot more women than the men, or there was that conscious effort to educate women as well, or there is a traditional antecedent to what is happening in Sudan?
Yeah, I think in Sudan, very early, as my brother said about the Ahfad University, they started teaching and learning women from very ancient times. It started from 1907 by Ahfad School in Rufaa, and now, as he said, there is a university which all students are females. And even in our traditions, we have no problem with teaching females. I think it's only one region that has this problem, but even in all our country now, they teach their females. We have no problem with that, so that we have this good number of female students now.
Okay. Prof, in terms of your faculty as well, do you have a lot more professors in all the various disciplines in the universities? How many do you have? Is there a shortage? Do you have more than excess to give to the other countries in the region?
Okay, I will start from the previous point, because I have a different explanation for this
the
gender imbalance. Yeah, because I think also due to the brain drain, most of those who leave the country are males.
Are males, okay.
Yes. Although qualified females, but they are usually unlikely to leave their families. Okay. So now they are overweighing the males in most of the university staff. And in another way also they make a larger number in the students ratio. Okay. For the qualified personnel or staff in the universities, in most of the fields we have enough qualified staff in the different fields, but only in very rare fields. We sometimes there is some sort of exchange between the universities, so the professor can teach in more than one university, because there is a need for these rare specialties. But in general, the staff is quite adequate. I think by the international ratios, it's acceptable. But also we need to develop new fields and new specialties, so we might need staff from outside Sudan in the new fields. This could be one channel for exchange of experience with the African universities.
Okay. All right. Prof Omar, so how many international students do we have, or do you have in your universities vis-a-vis the local student?
I think it's about 40,000. Yeah, from different countries, but I think as the International African University, most of the students are from outside of Sudan, from Africa and Asia, in all disciplines, from medicine to all other sciences. And also we have private colleges and institutions for teaching Arabic for the non-Arabs.
Okay.
And this brings us a lot of students who are from outside Sudan, from Africa and Asia, and also for Islamic studies, also for those who are Muslims.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Then you made mention that you even have excess capacity for students. For example, if there's a student in Algeria, or there's a student in South Africa, or there's a student in Cameroon, and would want to come to Sudan to study in any of the disciplines, is that difficult for the person to get access?
No, it is not difficult. Now we have a good number of students from Nigeria, especially now. Yeah, and also we met with some of ambassadors from Chad and other countries who are willing to study there, and they have an easy life there. It's cheaper and safe, and there's a lot of areas which they can study in Sudan now. Even medicine is available for other countries, other foreign students, I think. Even in our private school colleges, we have a good number of students from other countries, from Africa, and even some from Egypt and Yemen, Somalia, who used to come and study in Sudan now.
Okay. Yeah. That's great to know. Prof, let's come to the issues of funding. Do we have the government of Sudan prioritizing education, and how much investment is being made in the education sector of Sudan, especially the higher education?
You know, like in other African countries or in developing countries, usually you have to share the resources and to distribute it. The priorities comes according to the needs of the situation in Sudan. Maybe because of the situation in Sudan, sometimes there are kind of unrest in certain areas, so that affected to some extent the money that goes to higher education. But now peace is coming, and this will avail a lot of money to be directed to the higher education and to the elementary education. Now most of our funding is coming from the government. That's mainly for the public universities, the governmental universities. They pay the whole salaries and also extra money for management or general, and also they pay for the research. But also we do our best as universities to get our own resources. That's from the student tuitions, and kind of investments in different ways. But I think the most suitable investment for us is to invest in what we know, the education or as knowledge. So that's why we try to expand our interrelationship or relationship with international students. That's why we are trying to attract more international students. They are going to pay in hard currency, and at the same time they're going to satisfy us in the area of what we call it internationalization, because this is one of the most important requirements, that to have the mobility of the students, and you have to have a certain percentage of international students within the universities. So now we are doing that, and also the private universities do their own. We have some of our money come from donations, particularly for the area of research, and also some organizations help us according to the proposals for research, joint research, and so forth. So these are the sources of the funding of higher education in Sudan. Maybe there are other ways, but most of them, I think, for us is governmental.
Oh, governmental.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let me come to Prof. In terms of the student fees, if I'm to give you an example, in Ghana, averagely a public university student pays close to 400, 500 USD per year. Is that
for which disciplines is
for most of the disciplines?
The same.
Yes, it's almost the same, unless the medical field and some specialized areas where they pay more. But averagely, it is around 400 to 500 US dollars. Is that too different from what happens in Sudan?
In Sudan, most of the students in the government or public universities, they pay very few, little money, you see. But in private sector, in private universities, for medicine, for example, the fees for international students between 8,000 US dollars to 10,000 US dollars. For Sudanese students, it is $2,000, around 2,000 for Sudanese students. And but this fees differs according to the discipline, because for dentistry and for medicine, it is very expensive because of training is expensive and all this, and for pharmacy also, it's expensive for laboratories, consumables, and all these things. But for say humanity studies, it's around 1,000 US dollar for Sudanese, for international, and for Sudanese less than this. So also international students can be registered in public government universities,
Okay.
and they pay almost the same fees as in the private universities.
Okay. All right. That's great. Now, let me come to Prof. Omer. A lot of our African government and the private sector stakeholders are drumming that higher education must be relevant to the economy. It must be relevant to their industries. By so doing, the students who are churned out annually must have the skills, the knowledge that industry requires. Is that the same in Sudan? How relevant is the higher education space in Sudan to the needs of the government, to the needs of the industry players, to the needs of everybody in Sudan?
Yeah, the education, as it started from, as we said, from very ancient time, it goes with the need of the country.
Absolutely.
For the human resources. And we started with medicine, with agriculture, with animal production, and veterinary sciences, and engineering. And it goes now, the government and the government universities, they change not very quick like the private ones. The private one now goes with the need of the market, you know, for the needed. But we, as we know now, with the development of the country, we have all the graduates from all disciplines now who are needed by the market, by the government, as they are. Even now we go to the computer sciences, for IT, for the different disciplines of engineering, which are needed by the market. And now also we go to this special studies for which is needed for the market, for the industry also. And we are going very well now. Even we satisfied our needs, and also we have excess which goes to the Gulf areas and other areas which are needed by our students. And now our students are doing very well, even in everywhere. Even who go to US to study, they give a very good remarks in higher education now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, Prof, do you have a lot of the graduates coming out of the Sudanese universities unemployed, or are they given the extra skill to create more jobs after school?
Oh, this is a good question. But let me add to what my colleague Professor Omer said. Usually in most of our public universities in Sudan, we followed what we call it community-based education. And usually every university, especially within the state, concentrate more on the priorities of the state itself. For example, in Gaddafi state, it is a rain-fed state. So that's why we concentrate more on the agriculture for the rain-fed. And at the same time, we have the problem of some endemic disease like Khalid. So that's why we take care of this especially, even though we cover all the field. The same thing is for the Red Sea for university, where there is a Red Sea, so they concentrate on the marines and so forth. So we try to cover the needs of our communities. Every university also has what we call it the faculty of community development or services. This is mainly designed to serve or to work with the community, particularly for the poor people and women. So this is as an addition to what, according to your question,
yes,
about yeah, you know, actually we try, as Professor said, to graduate a student who can from the beginning depend on himself to find out his way. But still, there is a need for jobs. There is a gap between the jobs available and the graduates. With respect to the debate that this is not our concern in the universities, it should be taken by the government or so forth, we try our best to educate or to train our student so that when he graduates, he can pave his way by himself. Still, there is a problem there. I need to say this. As in all other developing countries, we have a lot of graduates who cannot find jobs. Here, it comes the importance of training, extra training, and giving them confidence in themselves that they can go with their own enterprises. So that's why we look for further training programs for the youth, for the youth in the Sudan. And we have a lot of this in collaboration with international organizations and even with the national organizations, and jointly with the Sudanese universities. Okay. So we do as best effort as we can do to cover this gap, even though I think we need to do more to be able to satisfy the needs of our youth, because as yesterday you mentioned, it's a problem. If we don't give them, then they can go abroad and they try to migrate in a way.
Right. Okay. So we'll go for a quick break, and when we return, we'll be looking at the other areas of partnership where Sudanese universities have available for the other continent. So viewers, you are still watching AU Talks, and today is the special edition of African Universities Week Day 4. Stay tuned, you are still with us.
In 1907, Sheikh Babak al-Badri established the first elementary school for girls. The school was developed by Professor Yusuf Badri into Ahfad College for Women in 1966. And in 1995, full university status was granted National Council for Higher Education. During a period of 50 years, Ahfad University for Women worked to provide unique and distinctive higher education fitting for international accreditation. Through a number of administrative, academic, and civil society offices, Ahfad University for Women aims to produce a female labor force that stands out with their capabilities becoming effective agents and leaders of change in their communities. Undergraduate programs provided at AUW includes School of Health Sciences, which was established in 1966, School of Psychology and Preschool Education, which was established in 1967, School of Management Studies in 1977, the School of Rural Extension Education and Development in 1978, in 1990, School of Medicine, and in 2001, School of Pharmacy. AUW also offers postgraduate programs in spectrum of studies that ranges from human nutrition to master program in gender and governance. To ensure consistency and development, a number of units and institutes were founded that provide consultancies and trainings. These are Regional Institute of Gender, Diversity, Peace and Rights, Nutrition Center for Training and Research, Ahfad Center for Science and Technology, the Documentation Unit for Women's Studies, Teachers Research and Resource Units, Family Health Center, Ahfad Institute of Languages, Ahfad Alumni Office, Early Childhood Development Center, Al-Hafid Library, International and External Relations Office, Research and Grants Units, and Education Development Center. Al-Hafid Library, the icon and heart of Ahfad University for Women, opens its doors to all Ahfad students and teachers as well as researchers from different universities. has passed and all that is yet to come, AUW has and will always remain a model of an ideal university, a beacon for civil education in Sudan and Africa.
Welcome back, and you are still watching the Day 4 session of the African Universities Week, and it's brought to you by the Association of African Universities, and we are live from our studio this morning. Prof, before we left for the break, we're looking at the relevance of higher education in Sudan, but we want to move straight and then look at areas of partnerships and collaborations, which are very important. If you want areas of partnership with African universities, which are the areas that you would focus on?
Okay. This is a good question. I think it's very important for us. Sudanese universities have a wide range of collaboration and partnership. The first one is within the country. So we have good collaboration with each other and complementing each other, particularly the universities that are within the same sector or direction. For example, the Eastern Sudan, we have the University of Gadarif, the University of Kassala, the University of Red Sea, so we collaborate. We have joint programs, we have this kind of partnership together to complement our resources. Also, we have a wide range of partnership within African universities, and also we have partnership with European universities. Like, for example, as an example, we have good relationships with the Turkish universities, with Germany, and just few days ago we had what they call it Sudanese American Universities Forum that was held in Sudan on the 27th to 31st of October. Yeah, and about 32 universities and higher education institutions came from America. We had a good discussion about the relationships and exchange of staff and joint research and so forth. So actually we need to concentrate more on African universities. And I think this is the area that we have to take lead. The AU should play a very important role in this way. I think now this huge number of the Sudanese universities can play a very important role within the AU umbrella. That's why we are concentrating, or we are looking forward to make more agreements, academic relationships for student exchange, staff exchange, joint research in certain areas, and all the ways of collaboration that can strengthen our partnership for the whole, for the fair of the whole Africa. So we have to save Africa first.
That's great. All right. Prof. Omar, do you have any to add to the partnership?
Yeah, I think it's very important to have these partnerships, as we are in one continent and we have a lot of interrelated work we have to do together.
Exactly.
In environment, in sociology, in economics, in medicine. Yeah, we have same problems sometimes, and same problems we have to solve together. And I think also we, as an president of the professional association, I think we have to have some source of one body for our staff also, to work together and to share ideas together and to find solutions of our problems, as I said, in the different areas of sciences. So this movement of the staff and having conferences in similar areas of sciences will help a lot of exchanging ideas, exchanging the results of of researches and citation by each other to increase our classifications of our universities. This will be very important to work together in these areas of sciences actually, especially between the staff and students also and other.
Okay,
yeah.
Thank you very much. Prof, any addition?
Only very little. I think it is easier for us as Africans with almost the same culture to exchange knowledge and experience. But first we need to know the capacities of each other, more information about each other, to know the gaps here and the gaps there, so that we can make use of the experience of each other. So the first step in academic part is teaching and assessment and research in particular. We should know each other more. I don't know the channels of communication which can be played. The role of AAU will be very great, so that people can know each other and they can easily communicate and find the gaps and find the excellencies in each part of Africa.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. I will now go to my studio audience and would want to come to you so you also share some few things that maybe the panel members may not have tackled. If you would want to speak, the microphone is just, who has a microphone? Okay, so I think it should go around. All right.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Okay, all right.
Thank you very much. I would like to say something about the community development colleges, which I think we have a good experience in this field. The colleges are found in every public university, and every public university has at least 10 branches from this community development college, 10 branches. And these colleges are, they just try to raise the level of females in the society. They, in the different fields. So I think we have a good experience in these colleges, and our experiment can be spread to other countries. I think they have to, if they look at our experiment, I think we can. People can find a good thing in it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Actually, I want to throw some.
Can you mention your name?
Isam Zain, Mashreq University. Actually, I want to throw some statistical information about what they have been raised by my colleagues here. About the Sudanese population, according to the official releases, is only 36 million. That is after the South Sudan has become another country. Our population is only 36 million. Okay. And about the resources which we have, Sudan is counted number 7 in the livestock in the world, before UK and New Zealand. And for gold, also Sudan is counted number 6. In addition to that, we have almost, beside the River Nile, we have 37 streams, and we have underground water, and we have a lot of rains over there. And the uncultivated land is almost 200 million acres. Okay. 200 million acres. That's what we have over there. This is ready for cultivation. Anyhow, for what I'm talking about, also we have to know that our universities are very famous for medicine, famous for MBS programs over there, and also very famous for IT. Sudan, I have met many persons abroad in international conferences, and they told me that Sudan is counted as India of Africa for the IT. Okay. And a guy from USA told me that two of the Sudanese have been kidnapped by Bill Gates himself and told them you are, and gave them very high salaries to get appointed over there. Okay. And they are still there working there at the headquarters of Bill Gates' company, Microsoft, over there. I think we are going to have a lot of fields of cooperation between Sudan and AAU. And also for the unemployment, you ask about the unemployed graduates. Actually, from the past years, we have almost 2 million graduates from the universities, and out of those 2 million, we have only 25% who had been unlucky to get jobs. But you know, our authorities over there, they have introduced programs like the microfinance programs for different projects to employ the graduates, and like the family productive projects. And I think these have helped a lot. And I think we can exchange these ideas with the AU and so on to help the development of each country. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And that was very important statistics there. Prof, go ahead.
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity to be with AAU Talks. And I would highlight a little bit on some environments which are quite unique in Sudan. And I'm talking about the Red Sea environment. My name is Ahmed Aziz. I'm the Vice Chancellor of the university. I think in the Red Sea University, we are just part of the African data collection and also part of the world data collection sources. We have an institute of oceanography and also a faculty of marine sciences. Both of them provide daily data on the environmental aspects of the Red Sea, which is located in a very unique area. This data is part of what we call climate change activities, which are running all over the world. So from our university, we are able to send daily and almost weekly and monthly informations about the status of marine, especially when you talk about physical status or chemical status, where we have some of our instruments between 30 meters and 800 meters, which record daily what is happening there. And this adds to what the whole world can share with us. And I think another aspect which is really related to the Red Sea University is that we are also part of international marine biodiversity, where we have 2 of the World Heritage Sites which are located close to the university, and we have our research centers within these two units, Senganeb and Dungunab, and these provide also their share, especially for our unique environment regarding coral reefs, regarding mangroves, regarding seagrasses, and almost invertebrates which are linked to the Red Sea and the biodiversity which exists over there. And also in the economical side, the blue economy is based on the data which is being generated from the university. Thank you very much.
So we have about 3 minutes to go. So I'll give you the opportunity.
So very quickly.
Yes, so
Professor
very quickly.
Aladdin Zaki, the Dean of Nobel's College and for Science and Technology. I am very happy to attend this African University Week, and we are here very important information, and we are discuss very important issues. I talk about partnerships. I sent a short short point of view.
Okay.
No doubt that the effective corporations had an important role in the development of the education in our region, in Sudan. And also there are a great benefit to be accrued for each other, so it's necessary to maintain such conference and workshop to achieve further development in university and education. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so Prof.
Yes, thank you so much. My name is Ibrahim Mohamed Adam. I'm the Dean College of Dar al-Ulum, College for Science and Technology. I want to concentrate on the areas of cooperation between the Sudanese universities and other African universities. This area could include exchange of teachers and students, and also organizing conference, symposia, and workshops. Also, should include the creation of joint courses and departments, and many aspects of cooperation between us and African universities. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Oh.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. This is Ali Hussein, Vice Chancellor, University of Zalingei, which is in Central Darfur State. It is another area of unique topography and climate in Central Darfur State, which is Jabal Marra area. The area is characterized with a very unique climate, which is the Mediterranean climate in Africa, with a unique vegetation, flora, and other resources. Also, in our university and other public universities, we have a very unique experience of the peace centers, or peace institutes, which tackle the area of conflict resolutions and something like that. I have to add on also one thing about the gender. Only few months ago, the Minister of Higher Education in Sudan was a female.
Oh.
That is something to add. Thank you. I'm very delighted to be with you, celebrating the AAU in Accra.
Thank you so
much.
much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and it is honorable for us to find the chance to share at AAU. Me as a presenter to Vice Chancellor of University of Kassala, which is the unique state bordered by two countries, Eritrea and Ethiopia. I would like to also to mention that the area is endemic of TB. So Eastern Sudan has a research center for TB in Kassala state. Also, I would like to add another point about the community development faculty, which is not a traditional faculty as other faculties to give a student a certificate baccalaureate. It depends on the developing of the community and to train the females to develop their community. This is one of the things that let the complex community to be interfered by the other groups.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, that will be the last. You have the microphone. Okay. Very briefly.
Okay. Thank you, moderator. The focus is on Sudan.
Yes.
And we have listened to top management of various universities. One observation I want to make is that we are desirous of having collaborations across Africa. But this stands as a hitch. You know, the school fees paid by foreign nationals, when you look at the statistics which I got from there, that the nationals pay average of 1,000, 2,000 US dollars, while foreigners pay between 8,000 and 10,000. You can see that to a great extent that stands as a barrier to the same thing we are desirous of having. So I want to make this suggestion that if we would make headway, there will be need to reconsider so that we'll be able to attract
more international
people from outside. That's just what I want to say.
That's very important. Thank you so much.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Anwar Ahmed Eisa Rashid, Vice Chancellor of Albutana University. First, I'm glad to be here to participate in these unique events and this beautiful city, Accra. But you know, most of my colleagues are cover all the topics. For that, I'm very glad to be here, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Abdul Fattah Bilal, the Faculty of Engineering, International University of Africa. First, I would like to thank the modulator for the hot topics which he raised. Then I would like to talk about the graduation and the need for jobs. Our philosophy is in Sudan is to graduate whoever want to study. Then, because it's better to have a good-minded person with no job who can plan for himself than to leave him without this faculty. The second point which I want to talk about is the International University of Africa, the experience of the university in teaching African students. We have more than 15,000 international students, 70 of them is of Africa, and we have experienced how to receive them, to accommodate them, and to teach them. We have very prominent colleges like the College of Education, where we have a TV channel where the students practice. These activities are done by students. And also we have agriculture, technology faculty, where we teach the students how to grow the plant and how to make use of the the plant in the industry, like how to make a jam, how to produce oil from these plants. And so we have, I think it's be better, we have an open chance, open for offer for a university, actual African University to collaborate with us. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Prof, you want to say something? Okay.
Yeah, I'm Ahmed Babikir. I want to make different talks and different dimension. That finance and administrative officer of the East Africa Regional Office. Yeah.
Great.
So I hope that we may avail a good chance for this gathering, and I hope that in the future will be a good platform under the umbrella of the AAU to make this collaboration come to existence. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Osman Mohamed from International University of Africa. We don't know to repeat my colleague, but we need to say all the students in International University of Africa learning without any fees. This to serve the community of African, and we help to do this in other universities. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Then finally, we'll take.
Thank you for the opportunity. I think from what I overheard during their discussion on the opening door for their women and their girls, I think is important, and if they can give more room for this gender participation in their country, you know, giving women room to speak, to talk, and to lead, which is one of the aspects that we are talking about. So I think it's a very, very important that will give the women from that part of Africa, you know, a sense of belonging, that they also, their voices could as well be heard, even through this AAU. Thank you
so much. And I think Sudan is doing so well with the women participation.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
That's great. All right, let me come back to the panel and then we wrap up. I think you would wrap up on behalf of the panel. Why should I come to Sudan? As a student, as a faculty member, why should I come to Sudan?
Okay, as all the Siham been done, I think all the science faculties are available there, from the medicine to arts and other, and even to learn about Arabic and Islamic studies also. And it is a cheap country, a safe country, and a welcoming country for foreigners. They will feel that as if they are in their own countries, you know. These are for the students. We are welcoming all the students to study in our countries, and there is seats for them in all the fields of sciences. For the staff, we are welcoming our colleagues to come and to share knowledge and to share ideas and to have collaboration in research, in training, in promotion of our profession, and to sit together and solve the problems of Africa together. We love our continent, we love our Africa, we love our countries, and we would like to work together as African and as brothers. Okay. And I'm very happy about this office of Eastern Africa. Now we are willing to work with East Africa and to the other regions of Africa together, and to have this umbrella of the AAU actually to work together as Africans.
All right. Thank you so much. And so this has been the special edition of AU Talks, and it is the 4th day of the African Universities Week, and we spent the first session in the studio discussing the landscape of Sudanese universities. We're looking at the higher education space as well, and we were privileged to have our distinguished professors from the universities in Sudan, and then 2 from Nigeria as well. Thanks for watching. In the next session, we'll bring you the profiling of African countries, where we are going to profile every African country, showcase the good things that we have. Thanks for watching, and do stay tuned with AAU TV.
Thank you. Thank you very much.